everyone, it's Kirsty and I'm starting a new reading vlog today. I hope you're doing well. I so I'm currently kind of trying to tidy my house and I'm listening to When No One Was Watching. I think that's what it's called. The new Alyssa Cole thriller. I'll put the thing here so you can actually see what it's called because I can't remember what it's called. My brain is just and it's really good. It's like I haven't really got to the I feel like I've not really got to the thrillery parts yet, but I feel like it's like bubbling there. And it's just like about a woman who lives in the Bronx. I think it's the Bronx. In Brooklyn. Is the Bronx in Brooklyn? I'm really showing that I know nothing about New York. She lives in a suburb in New York that's generally kind of historically more where black people and people of colour live, but it's gradually being gentrified because I think they're a pharmaceutical company have announced that they're like setting up operations near there, so like a whole bunch of white people are moving in and there's companies shifting houses there for really like for huge amounts of money, and this woman's just trying to kind of get used to, well, not get used to, but is seeing the effects of this gentrification in her neighbourhood. And I don't really know what the thrillery part of it is yet, but there's been some really good discussions about like gentrification, and like there's been scenes where it's been like, because it's told in dual perspective, and one's a black woman and one's a white man who is her neighbour, and his girlfriend is a massive racist, but she's like, I'm not a racist, I just call the cops on black people. That kind of white racist person. And she, like, there's been numerous parts of it where, like, he's been in a conversation where she just starts going off about how the neighborhood's really dangerous because of all the people of color and black people. And I'm just like, oh, every time there's, like, a scene like that, I just, like, oh... I just start going like this with my fingers. Oh, I hate it so much. But it's like done really well. Alyssa Cole's like one of my favourite romance authors, so I was like, I don't really read thrillers, but I was like, if I'm going to read a thriller, I'm going to read a thriller from Alyssa Cole. So, yeah. And then also today I have started Spoiler Alert by Olivia Dade, which is one of my most anticipated books of the year, because it's like a romance novel featuring a chubby girl, and it's about like fan fiction and like fan culture and stuff like that, so I'm really excited to keep reading this. This was sent to me by the lovely folks at Piatkus at Little Brown, so thank you to them for sending it to me in exchange for a review. I started reading it when I got up today. Like I came downstairs and just like was like, I'm gonna read a chapter of this because I finished a book last night, which was Shine by Jessica Jung. I'll talk about that in my wrap up because I didn't really film any of it. But yeah, so I came downstairs, had some breakfast, and then I was like, I'm going to read a chapter, spoiler alert, before I go for my shower. 3 chapters later, I was like, shit, I've not gone for my shower yet. But yeah, it's really enjoyable so far. The writing style is really good. But yeah, it's about, it's kind of like, the main guy's kind of like, he's an actor in a TV series that's kind of, I would say comparable to Game of Thrones in terms of like fan intensity. Like it's not the same as Game of Thrones because it's about like Greek gods, but it's like that kind of massive appeal scale kind of thing. And then this girl is a writer of fan fiction, but it turns out they actually know each other because he also writes fan fiction and they're pals, but they don't know they're pals because they don't know each other. So yeah. I'm excited to get into that because I'm really enjoying the writing style so far. I've read 44 pages already in the space of like when I was just sitting there this morning, not really realising I was reading that much. So yeah, I'm excited to continue that. Right now I'm just trying to tidy my house because I let it get a bit out of control. It kind of happens when I have like weird bouts of like mental health lows. Like things just like get a bit out of my control, so I'm trying to get it back in control. My cat's like torn apart. Like she's got a wooden scratching board and it's getting to the point where it's getting a bit like torn apart. So there's just like bits of cardboard all over my carpet. So I need to like sort that out. But yeah, so yeah, and I'm going to watch the penultimate episode of Stranger soon. Stranger season 2, which is a K-drama on Netflix. Oh, it's so good. Well, season 2 is not as good. Season 1 is really good. It's like a really good crime thriller that was just like, oh, perfect. Season 2 is like, you should have kept it to one season, but it's still enjoyable, and like I'm excited to see how it's going to end. So that's my night. I'll maybe do some footage of me reading later. But yeah, that's kind of my wee update. Just not much been happening in my life, just plodding along, because now we're kind of back in a kind of lockdown kind of again. It's not a lot full lockdown, but it's like you can't really see people. Like you can only keep it to your household again. So I've been doing a lot of online shopping recently, which is not good. So I'm trying to like curb that, but I really want to do a clothes shop because I feel like, so like I've been putting on a lot of weight in the past few years, and I just keep going up in size, and I just feel like I don't really have much winter clothes at the moment that actually fit me. So yeah, and trying to put on clothes that don't fit me makes me miserable. So but yeah, that's my wee update. I'm gonna get back to my cleaning and listening to the book, and yeah. Hello, so I'm filming some videos this afternoon, so I just thought I would sit down and chat whilst I'm doing my makeup. So yeah, so I am like nearly 150 pages into, spoiler alert, and I'm really enjoying that. It's really addictive, like it's just really nice writing, and the relationship's so sweet at the moment, and it's just like, it's just nice. And like the main hero has dyslexia, which I like how that's been discussed in the novel. I don't know if its own voice is for dyslexia rep, but I'm really enjoying the way it's presented currently. And yeah, they're just like, the romance is blossoming, kind of building. It's really good. I'm really enjoying it. So far I would recommend, but we'll see how it goes. You never know. And then this morning was that a helicopter? Lovely. Great. Just what we want when we're filming a video. And then this morning I finished You Had Me at Ola by Alexis Daria, which I've been reading for about a week now. It was taking me a while because I was like bouncing between different things. And yeah, I enjoyed that one. I felt like I didn't connect to the romance as much as I would want to connect to a romance in a romance book, but it happens. It was enjoyable though. It was about two Latinx actors who are on a telenovela inspired Netflix kind of series, except it's not Netflix, but like that kind of vibe. And they are romantic interests in the show, and then they become romantic interests in real life. And it was good. It was enjoyable. I think if you don't like celebrity books, it's not the book for you, because there's a lot of talk about their fame and like hiding from the press and stalkers and stuff like that, but it was really enjoyable. So last night I got I ordered some dessert to my house because I was just like, I just really want some dessert, so I ordered a massive waffle. I didn't realise it was going to be so massive though, because I probably shouldn't have eaten it all because I got a bit full midway through. But I was like, I have spent money on this, I'm not going to waste my money. So yeah, I finished it. I also had an ice blast with it and I had like a bright blue tongue and I was just like, this looks ridiculous. Felt like a bloody teenager again, because I remember when teenagers used to like have bright blue tongues from sweets and stuff they'd eat. But yeah, that was really good, and I just settled in and read Spoiler Alert, and it was just a nice night. And I finished watching episode 15 of Stranger Season 2. And I'm kind of like, I was really enjoying, I really enjoyed the first season. I felt like it did it really well. I'm not really a massive crime thriller person these days because I watched so much of it growing up with my parents, because they literally like watch every single like crime thriller program on the television. But I obviously grew up watching it, but I am not massively interested in them myself because of that, because I feel like I can just guess everything now, because I've seen literally everything. My foundation's sitting a lot better than the last few times I've done my makeup. When I last did my makeup, the last 2 times I've had to do it twice. Like, well, I've had to do my foundation once and then like ripped it off and did it again, because it just wasn't sitting right for some fucking reason. But this time seems to be going a lot better, touch wood. I don't know if it's my skin's in better condition or like I'm using a different foundation than what I normally use, because I normally use my Too Faced Peach Perfect foundation, which it was one of my like holy grail products, but maybe my skin's different now, because I was diagnosed with PCOS at the beginning of the year, and I kind of noticed that happening last summer, and I got like a really bad acne flare up last summer, on through until like December. It was so bad, my skin was just awful. It's a lot better now. I don't know why I didn't change anything in my skin routine. Like, well, I did, but like it was like my skin routine the whole time I had it and it didn't do anything, and then suddenly it just got better. So yeah. Oh my god, this is sitting so much better than the last few times I've done it. Thank god. Maybe I just should stop using that Too Faced one and just use my Fenty. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I just like watched Stranger yesterday, and then I watched Onward, which was so sweet. I really enjoyed that one. I wasn't sure if I'd like it because it was getting like so much like negative press when it came out. But it was still enjoyable. It's not like the best Pixar movie. Like, I've seen much better Pixar movies like WALL-E, Ratatouille. And this one was fine, but it wasn't like amazing. But it had a really sweet ending that made me cry. But I cry at everything. Big crier. And then what else did I do? That's all I did really. Did I watch anything else? I can't remember. I don't think I did. But recently I have been watching, let me see, what have I been watching? Currently watching Record of Youth with Park So-dam and Park Bo-gum. I'm sure everyone knows Park Bo-gum if you watch K-dramas. Park So-dam was Jessica from Chicago in Parasite, so I was really excited for this drama and I'm enjoying it so far. It's quite nice. Like, they're both like puppy like characters, so they're really sweet together. But it's only like halfway through and I'm like, oh god, when is like the major thing gonna happen? Because I think he's gonna end up having to go to the army, because the kind of beginning of it started with him being like, I need to go to the army, and then he got like a good role in a TV show, so he postponed it. He's like 26, so he'll need to go to the army soon, so yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna do like my close-up stuff now, so yeah. I just thought I would like check in whilst I quickly did a bit of my face. Hello, so it's Monday. Yesterday I got up to page 170 of Spoiler Alert. I'm still really enjoying it. It's talking about fat phobia quite a lot, which I am loving as a fat woman myself. I love kind of discussion about that in books and stuff. And yeah, I'm just enjoying it. I haven't really, I don't think I really read much since the last update, because I just got really tired last night. Like, I got like a headache at like 8 o'clock. Oh, not even 8 o'clock. I think probably about 7. And like after I came back from shopping and I made my dinner, and then I was trying to write a blog post, like a review, and I just like could not for the life of me focus on it, and I had no idea like what I was actually trying to say, and it was just really frustrating. So I went to bed, read a little bit of this, and then I started reading Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo, which I've got on ebook from the library, which yeah, I read like, it's basically like a short story collection following the lives of different people, and each short story has a different person in it. So I read like one woman's like chapters or whatever, and I think that was about 50 pages on the Kindle, which is about 10%, and I'm enjoying that so far. It's an interesting writing style. No, I don't know if it stays like the same or if it changes depending on the character we're following, but it basically just didn't have like full stops and stuff. It went into like a new paragraph, so that was quite interesting. It's not something I like. I find different writing styles interesting. Some of them I really struggle to read. Like if there's no speech marks in something, I really don't like that. Like Normal People, my friend Isha sent me like some screen caps when she was reading it, and like that's not got speech marks, and that really messes with my brain. But stuff like paragraphs doesn't really bother me so much as long as there is speech marks. So yeah. So I've read that, and then today I was just working, and I'm about to get on my exercise bike, do 15 minutes, watch a bit of Record of Youth, and yeah, that's my Monday evening. I'm going to the office tomorrow. It was month end, so I'm accounts assistant, so it's busy for me, but I can't do my work that I need to do at the moment because I'm waiting for for other companies to send me information, which is very frustrating. But yeah, I'm thinking of doing an order on Simply Be. I've never used them before, but I see them advertised a lot, and like they're for larger women. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. They're for fat women. And yeah, I feel like their sizing looks quite good. I don't know. I'll see. I feel like I've spent more money during this pandemic than I would normally. But I don't know. I guess I'm not going out for dinner as much as I did. I'm barely going out for dinner. I think I've gone out for dinner like twice because I went out with my parents, but that's it. So I'm not spending money on that. So maybe I'm not spending as much as I think I am. I don't know. But yeah, that's my wee update. So hello. So I probably about let me see. I'm about 80 pages away from finishing Spoiler Alert, so I'm gonna quickly do that now whilst I'm lying in bed because it's a Saturday morning. I don't have anything to do, so but yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. It's really soft and sweet, and it just makes me happy to see a chubby lead, fat, chubby, whatever. I think she says in the book she doesn't like being called chubby, actually. She prefers fat. So yeah, just a big fan of that. I love reading about people that are a similar size to me. Yeah. Let me see, what are my updates? Do I have any updates? I started reading Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson on audiobook yesterday, and the whole time I was just like, my skin was crawling. Yeah, so it's just like, oh, because it's basically involves like a 17-year-old girl being groomed by a 20-year-old man, and it's just horrible. Like, it's supposed to be horrible, but had to keep taking breaks because it was just making me feel like horrible. So if you want to read Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson, just be aware that that's the content that involves. It's not fun, but it's very well written, I think. Started watching The Haunting of Bly Manor, which is freaking me out. I was watching it till like 2. but I'm not finished yet. I think I've finished episode 5, and episode 5 was some freaky shit. Like, if you've watched it, like talk to me, because it's some freaky shit. And then all the K-dramas I want to watch started this week. So we had The Tale of Nine-Tailed, or is it Tale of the Nine Lives? I can't remember, but it's like a Gumiho drama that's got Lee Dong-wook in it. And yeah, that's good so far. I'm enjoying it. And then also, what else am I watching? Private Lives with Sohyun from Soneshide and Go Kyung-pyo, who is so hot. And that one's good so far too. So yeah, I've just been watching a lot and doing a lot of knitting, because I need to finish knitting a jumper for my best friend so I can start something for a Christmas present. So yeah, that's just been me. Not much else to say, really. Hello. So I have a lot of updates today with my reading. So I finished Spoiler Alert, which I really enjoyed. It was really fun. It was really soft. It was just sweet. It's really nice to see a romance with a fat woman as the main character, because as a fat woman myself, I like seeing stories where someone who looks like me is loved and appreciated, and I really enjoy that. I really liked Olivia Day's writing style. It's my first Olivia Day book, although I've followed her for like a while on Twitter. And I have 40 Love on my Kindle. But this one was actually like an arc. Well, no, it wasn't an arc, but it was like a press copy, which was sent to me by the lovely people at Piatkus. So I read that before I read 40 Love, because 40 Love I bought. So yeah, and I really enjoyed it. I would recommend it if you're looking for good smutty romance. It's just my kind of vibe. And then I was like, so I don't know if I said, but I started reading the audiobook for Grown by Tiffany G. Jackson. And I was listening to the audiobook, and I was like, I got really into it yesterday, but I had to keep pausing because it is just like a really heavy read. But then today I just couldn't stop thinking about it. So I wasn't really in the mood for listening to the audiobook, because it just like was taking a lot out of me. And I felt like I would have a more of a disconnect by reading physically than listening, because I feel like when you're listening, it feels like someone is telling you, like talking to you about stuff. So like when it comes to something like what happens in Grown, it didn't feel right for me to be listening to it. It just felt like I felt really like affected by it, and I don't generally feel affected by these kinds of things, but it was just like the content is so awful. So Grown is about a girl who like the first page kind of thing, she wakes up and she finds that the man in the room, like there's a man in the room who is dead, and he is a really famous singer, and it kind of goes back in time and then tells you the story of how he got to that point where he was dead, and it just it tells us about it's like a story of Enchanted, that's the girl's name, like showing how she went from being a girl in high school in New York to being essentially groomed by a really famous singer. And it does, I think it is inspired by what happened with R. Kelly. But it's all, the author says at the front of the book, it's not about R. Kelly, it's about the people's lives that he's ruined and stuff like that. So yeah, it was really hard to read. Like, it features like sexual harassment, rape, opioid addiction. It was not a fun read, but it was a good book. And I would thoroughly recommend it. Like, it's an incredibly good book. It's just like, if you find that kind of stuff, like anything that you can really imagine with a person being abducted and manipulated and gaslit and as a 17-year-old, and there's also girls featured in this that are younger. If that's something that's upsetting to you, do not read it. Like, it's not, like, it is a really good book, but you don't put yourself through that emotional strain just for a book. But it was a really good book, and I would recommend it if that's something you're interested in reading. But yeah, that's been my day. And then I finished watching The Haunting of Bly Manor, and I absolutely loved the ending. I wasn't expect like I'm not gonna spoil it or anything, but this does contain like a sapphic romance, and it just made me so happy to see that like on screen. Because I wasn't expecting it going into it, and then it like started happening, and I was like, oh my god, they're sapphic, and it just made me really happy. And then I was just like sobbing at the end of it. Like, I've got a bit of a headache because I was crying. But yeah. Hi everyone, it's Editing Kirsty. I came to edit this video and realised I never filmed an outro, so yeah. Thank you very much for watching this kind of all over the place vlog, because I was just like reading so many random things here and there. But yeah, thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed. All the good stuff.